my relationships have healed as a result.
It has been a transformational experience for me, and I'm very grateful that I follow my hunch.
It's even really hard for me to think back to the first womb, because there's been so much that's changed since the first womb.
Such love as I've never, and such support as I've never felt before.
The depth of my grounding is totally different.
I felt like I wasn't only releasing my things, I was releasing like generations of pain that I didn't even knew I held. That's something I'm probably going to remember for the rest of my life.
Surprised at how much I could trust.
All these sort of testimonials you had about, oh, this is life changing, and thinking, oh yeah. And it's like, bloody hell, it is.
Welcome to the Kimiya Healing podcast, our first session of Words from the Womb. You guys have experienced womb rooms. Some of you are onto your 8th rebirth. Why do you keep coming back to womb?
Yeah, there's big changes every time. So I just love it. I see results. That's why I come back. I just go deeper and deeper into myself. If I look at myself the first time and now, there's huge difference. The depth that I've gone into, my relationships have healed as a result. And my relationship with my children, it's much deeper.
And I always say to people, the proof is in the pudding. You can listen to me talk all day long, but until you experience it for yourself, taste the pudding, get the result, that's when you know.
I was actually very skeptical, not only about this womb room, but about you as Safa. So I had no clue who you are and what kind of work do you do. And I come from a background of being a counseling psychologist. None of the professors or teachers at the university ever spoke about the stuff that you're speaking. As my own PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder that I suffer from. And I tried so many healing methods that the science of psychology offers these days. So I did everything there is, like talk therapy and EMDR and hypnosis and craniosacral work and meditations. I know that I will come back exactly and will do this womb room again. It is the place where for the first time, I recognize that, oh my God, I'm so disembodied. I have been disembodied my whole life. And I didn't even know that. I wasn't even aware. Like, oh my God, what does it even mean to connect with the womb, to feel into my inner organs and to sense them and like to feel my body. So it was a huge aha moment. And from the 4th and 5th day, especially this group setting with so many people from different countries and different stories, all creating the safe space where I recognized that, oh my God, on the 4th and 5th day, I was, commenting and sharing my experience as if we had known each other for, 5 decades of this life, and reading stories of other people and their experiences. It just made me feel so one and so connected, and that the problems that people shared, it made me feel really that, oh my God, we're actually all same. Oh, the womb room for me personally was a hell of a journey, because I got aware about how much work I need to do.
Totally didn't know what to expect at all. I was really, really enthused when you shared an image somewhere which connected in the sort of the physical aspect of the room, the emotional aspect of the room, the spiritual, and then the cosmic. And I realized I have been looking for something that would help me come into this space that I knew was so powerful, but just it's so rarely talked about in a way that I wanted to go that deep. And when I read that, I realized I haven't found anywhere else that I could take all of that. And you, my goodness, I'm telling lots of people about it and how amazing it's been, and the space that you hold. Just meeting and getting in contact with my pelvic floor, just realizing, oh my God, if I get anxious or tense, that tells me. And so it's a really, really helpful barometer for me. So just feeling more into the sensations in that area, and that replay some of the words that you guided us with about just feeling into the sensation, not being fearful of them. Something's happened to my right side. I had my first in-person cranio today, and it was like, oh my goodness, my right side, I have a very different relationship with it now. it's got similar sensations, but it's different. It's like it's grown up. And I had this sense in the session, there was one point, I think you referred to it earlier on, where I just thought it was beyond gender in a way that I haven't experienced. And that was the other big thing that came through for me in this womb room, which is my first, but won't be my last, I don't think, is the masculine, the divine masculine. Coming to have a significantly different understanding of that and how that interweaves with the feminine. And that's just helped heal quite a lot of things, I think, that I've been in, situations I've been in, and in a current relationship and stuff. All the sort of testimonials you had about, oh, this is life changing and this is another, I was thinking, oh yeah. And it's like, bloody hell, it is.
So like I've done a lot of individual work, but processing with other people, it kind of just helped me feel a sense of belonging, and like I do belong in this world, on this earth. It was pretty like amazing. And I think for me specifically, when it comes to like deep anger that was like dissociated from my body, and then I spoke about it and I was like, no, this is way too crazy to share. Like obviously someone's gonna think I'm like, I'm off the rocker or something. But having someone else say, yeah, me too, like it reminded me that I was loved and that I belonged. And that was, it was magical.
I've been rebirthed 3 times now in womb. It's even really hard for me to think back to the first womb because there's been so much that's changed since the first womb. When I realized what this womb room program of 10 days makes me do and make myself look at myself in a much deeper sense, and in this time and space that you create in such an incredible way, all these resources and wisdom that we can access, and then we're allowed to feel this incredible vibrational feeling that you're sending to us, in this incredible, I don't know, sense of love. And I feel like it's like this library of love. I don't know, I just started to really crave these healing sessions that were amazing. I could really feel them and sense them, and even sometimes when you were doing them offline, but I wasn't even tuning in at those times, I would still feel these frequencies or these vibrations in my body or something. It was incredible.
Yeah, me too. When you were saying about the wound of belonging, and other people just speak out what was maybe a bit hidden but on its way out, and someone would go ahead of me and express something where it needs that nudge and encouragement of this is a deep space, and those things can emerge and have that space. I knew that I was entering into a space where these depths would just be able to be held from your content, Safa, and like the way that you presented it, and like Bryony was saying, the cosmic womb and the different layers. I was like, okay, yeah, I can come here and I can open here.
It took me till halfway through the session. I was like, I just can't really open up. I don't really want to open up like this. But then I just sit there and I'd watch other people and realize, okay, well, I mean, we're all the same here. We're all going through the same stuff. There's people discussing some of the things I actually wanted to say, the very same thing. And if you don't want to say something, that's fine. You're gonna take in so much from all these other people from all over the planet, discussing these things, these deep things. Yeah, then you might feel, oh, this isn't doing much, and then all of a sudden one day you go try a meditation or something, and it just, you feel great. All of a sudden I just felt amazing. It just wore off on me. I didn't even realize it.
For the first time in my life, actually, a huge shift in the way how I feel inside my body. So the first days of the womb for me were kind of challenging also because of the realization that, oh my God, everyone's like sharing their physical sensations in their body. And they're so, to my mind, it felt like, oh wow, they have done such a huge work and they're so successful in their healing. And oh, nothing's happening in my body and I'm not feeling my body. I don't have those sensations that people are reporting about. And again, like those loops of thoughts come up like, oh yes, sure, you're effed up, and sure, and there's something wrong with you. And yes, look, everyone's reporting about these great changes and you see nothing's happening for you. So I was kind of lost in this spiral of fears and just negativity, that, oh God, I'm so traumatized that I don't sense anything. And now the shift that I'm reporting is just, it's been like, just, I don't even know how many days it's been since the womb room has closed. I mean, it's not even a month. And it's just insane what's happening with my body. I mean, if I had known that it can change so dramatically, I would have laughed about those thoughts that I had. Like, I remember those thoughts right now. I think like, oh my God, that was so silly of me, for me to think like that. And just to share very, very happy news that today was because I meditate, like I do your meditations. And till now, I kind of did them, with a, how do you say in English, clenched teeth? Like, okay, stuff I told them to do. So it's like on to-do list. Okay, body, let's do this. And today was the first time when I literally felt my first energy center moving and pulsating. And to me, it was just, it was the birthday. So now I know what the people spoke about.
I think that's one thing you don't really get from one-to-one therapy. The realization that other people are experiencing what you're going to experience in a week or what you experienced last week, right? It's that context. Like, how do we fit into the context? I mean, Zian was talking about like belonging in the world. How do we know whether we belong in the world if we don't journey with each other and explore each other's worlds?
For me, it's been an amazing journey of I've allowed myself to be led. And when I landed in the womb room, I just knew I was supposed to be there. And curiosity is a hugely powerful thing, to be curious about what is going on inside your body. The supported stillness, the aspect of stillness and the wisdom that arises through stillness is quite something. My journey entailed healing parts of my divine feminine, and I had actually an intergenerational experience, and it was hugely powerful because I knew a lot about my story, but I had the most incredible intergenerational experience. It was a felt experience. It was so supportive and beautiful and loving. There's just been a whole other dimension to my lived experience. I feel like I have stepped into my power, that I have followed through with more aspects of my lived experience that I wanted to embrace creatively. I have felt safer and more trusting within myself.
Zian, tell us about the tears.
As she was talking, I just kept thinking about how when I started womb, my pelvic area was like completely numb. And then like afterwards, or on the last day, I could feel like a pulsating in there. And ever since then, I've been able to like feel my womb, and like my life's been completely different.
Ancestral healing, collective healing, a sense of re-belonging and togetherness, and the fact that we're kind of all here processing the same stuff in a way. We have the same feeling, and at the deep down emotional level, we feel the same way about things. Seta, I want to bring you in.
Starting from my first experience, so it was more on a personal level, based on my personal history, my relationships, and also me growing up in war zone. So that's what it started up with in the initial stages. Then it kind of evolved to ancestral, where my ancestors' survival of massacre. So all this I've been holding inside me, and to the recent ones where it was more my maternal lineage came forward, where our voice was suppressed and our gifts were suppressed. So it's more to do with feeling unworthy. The level of the depth that I felt, it was really amazing, feeling the depth of the ocean and seeing the whales as well. The depth of my grounding is totally different still, and more things are coming up. It is really amazing. It's like it hasn't given me a break.
It's like a medicine that keeps working, right?
Yeah, it's still coming up, and it's really happy.
Wow, you have a big smile on your face, considering all of this medicine is coming through your body. You know, we often don't like the taste of medicine, but you're still smiling, which is...
Yeah, we're best friends now.
Best friends. So you guys got really close to your shadow Sheilas during the womb room, as we call them. For those of you that are listening, the Sheilas are what we call our endearing term for the shadow, and our sub personalities, and maybe the sub personalities that we try to ignore or project or pretend they don't have the hold over us that actually they do, and we call them Sheilas. Sorry to anyone who's actually called Sheila that's listening to this. It's not personal. So during the womb room journey, you had a tea party and you got very close to your Sheilas and those aspects of yourself. What is blocking you from being and what it does to you. And the things that were coming up were the same thing. My shadows, my Sheilas are stopping me from being my authentic self, speaking my truth, being comfortable in my own body, being acceptable, feeling acceptable and accepting others, loving and being loved, being in my power. It was the same themes over and over again.
They're still there, but I just know I'm so much more aware of them. That was a big part for me. It was the shadow thing, shadow section of the course. Yeah, they all went away, but they do creep back. But what I got out of this is that I can see them. I know they're around, and it takes work. So.
Did anything really surprise you about the womb room journey?
I was surprised by the depth of sensations I experienced when I came to the session after it had occurred. Was having this very deep visceral journey, and I was really surprised by that.
Not only was I surprised, I was shocked about that I was able to start singing due to my trauma and the fear that was stuck in my body, and I could never really sing, even though I do have a singing voice. I wouldn't sing even if I knew that the cat was at home. During this womb room, especially when I got more safe inside of me, and there was this huge group safety and unconditional support and this loving environment, that at the end of the womb room, as we had our last session, this integration call, I really, really had this urge that, oh my God, I want to give it a shot. I want to try and test if I will be able to sing. And to me, to do that in front of so many people, and I was worried. I thought, okay, I will screw it up. It's not going to work. So all these Sheilas singing in a choir inside my own head, and that I did it. I still can't believe it in front of a camera. I mean, to me, it was like, I still can't believe it.
So I want to ask you a little bit about what your experiences were of these healing sessions. So in womb room, we have 4 healing sessions, and we do 2 of them live, don't we? We do the grounding live and we do the rebirth live. And we do the other 2 offline.
For me, the release session, I was like, how does healing happen offline in another country, in another time zone? It just doesn't make sense.
Which for some people is really bizarre, because the notion that you could experience healing without having anyone in the same room or continent as you, and a group of people, is often considered quite far-fetched or impossible.
There were emotions that were coming up through me in waves. I was surprised at how much I could trust and let go. I knew I was held. I knew I was safe.
But I promise, the minute it turned like the right time, I could feel it in my body, and there was just this really raw, primal feeling in my perineum. It was just really more raw and intense than anything else I've ever felt in my life. I felt like I wasn't only releasing my things, I was releasing generations of pain that I didn't even knew I held. That's something I'm probably going to remember for the rest of my life.
Such love as I've never, and such support as I've never felt before.
Such a strong experience of my heart field expanding and feeling just drawn into such a deep peace even though I would be thinking, I can't do this, I'm too stressed, I'm too tired. And it would take over and just create a really strong feel, like the whole room would just transform. And my relationships with the people in the house that I was staying in at the time shifted.
The movement from being in connection with moving into the pelvis and the womb and feeling that physicality, and then just the sense of the moving out into the different layer, the more emotional, the more spiritual, and then the moving out into the cosmic, and just being able to sense that different qualities in a sense of the womb that's bigger than this physicality. Yeah.
The biggest takeaway that I've got from womb room is to really just trust myself. I feel in a place that I know that I can help myself, but that's been a beautiful unraveling for me in womb room, to just really trust myself deeper and really hone in on my power and truth, for sure. Has been part of me that has just resisted doing things I've loved and just have put it on the sidelines, but now it's like I have a list. I know what I want to put my energy into, and it's happening. Deep roots are being created so that these things can come into fruition, which feels really good.
Transparently, I've been a person who's lived a lot of my life up in my head. And for me to get into body and to allow myself to experience, allow myself to feel, has been a journey. I'll be back in womb room again.
I will definitely join once again. And I'm also doing one-to-one work with you. So it has been a transformational experience for me. And I'm very grateful that I follow my hunch. And despite mine being critical, join this sacred space. So
I can't wait to have you all in the next one. And yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for being on this podcast, Words from the Womb.